Hello, I'm Jannarone, Editor-in-Chief of IPO Edge, here live from the New York Stock Exchange at the 2023 IPO Summit. We've got a really interesting company in the EV space here. We have the IPO Summit.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, Ryan, I was reading about your biography. Before we talk about the company, I was just really interested that you actually were an electrician originally before you founded this company. Tell us about your path to starting Atom Power.
Yeah, it definitely started off as an electrician in the field. So I was in the field with a hard hat and tool belt for 6 years, prior to going to college, and eventually designing buildings in my past life. I would say that Atom Power certainly emerged out of both the field experiences I had, along with the building design and contracting role that I had for about 10 years after college. It was formed from all of those experiences, kind of combined together.
Great. So tell us a little bit about smart charging and exactly what you do. I mean, I think that most people understand the idea of how an EV charger works. They're starting to pop up all over the place. My parking deck has 40 of them in my new condo. But you have a smart ecosystem. So explain how that works.
True. So this smart ecosystem began with where Atom Power began from a technology perspective. If you look at car charging or HVAC or anything that consumes energy, it's interesting how simple the ecosystem is. Everything that consumes energy is fed from a circuit breaker.
Yep.
Always, across the planet. So our thesis in starting Atom Power was that in the future, you would need to have a large-scale universal way of having protection, visibility, and control of energy, period. We felt that was best suited at circuit breaker. So we were the first company in the world to ever actually commercialize solid state circuit breaker technology, which basically means you can tell the breaker what it is.
Yeah.
So basically, EV charging is simply an application of our product today.
Yeah.
So we use we're vertically integrated. We make panel board circuit breakers, software to effectively offer customers large scale deployment of EV charging.
Gotcha.
While hitting the most critical value propositions for them, such as scalability. There's a fear of stranded assets. For example, if you buy one charger today, is it the same one I'm going to need tomorrow?
Yeah.
Cybersecurity is another one, especially at scale. Reliability is really a big one right now. There's some reliability challenges across the ecosystem, and affordability again at scale. So. Really, it's an application for us, not necessarily the core business as a company from a hardware point of view.
Right.
So the hardware can charge cars.
Yeah.
Amongst do many other things.
Yeah.
But the focus today is certainly in the EV charging infrastructure space.
I got you. So can you give me, just so I can visualize this, like a real life example, like my parking deck? Could that be, could my building use your products? Could that help them out if there are 40 chargers in there?
Absolutely. So anywhere where you have to charge at scale.
Yeah.
So more than, say, 4 chargers in a single location. We have projects that we are working on today that are in the several hundred.
Oh, wow.
Per location.
For like a fleet, maybe?
Yeah, fleet and multifamily.
Oh, okay.
Hospitality as well.
Oh, wow.
We're seeing it scale outwards now.
So some multifamily homes now have dozens, hundreds of chargers.
Correct.
Wow, okay.
Correct. And charging at scale is actually where the problems start coming up.
Yeah.
Charging vehicle as a function is not a new thing. It's
right.
more like charging at scale is relatively new. And there's some major pain points that come up when you try to charge a lot of vehicles in a single location.
Gotcha. So how do, I'm trying to understand how your business model works. How do you strike deals with partnerships? Do you go out to OEMs, or do you work with charging companies, or how do you sell the products?
Yeah, excellent question. So that has certainly evolved, and it continues to evolve every day. So at first, we were very much a hardware and software company. So here's our charging system from a hardware perspective, the infrastructure.
Yeah.
And then we had at that time a certain level of software that you could control chargers and do energy management.
Yep.
That has scaled outward to effectively offer the full ecosystem at this point. Level 2, level 3, all the way up to large electrical switchgear, commissioning services, SLAs for performance, things like that. So we go after the market very much business to business. So think in the terms of multifamily developers, landlords. Same thing in hospitality, and then in the fleets, it's generally directly with the fleet customer, along with the utilities. We're integrated in many utilities at this point, and we have relationships that we do business through many of the utilities, particularly for fleets.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
There was an abbreviation that I noticed in the description of the company, EVSE. Can you tell me what that's about?
Yeah, it's electric vehicle service equipment.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that just, all right, so it's basically your stuff, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's more of a trade lingo for EV charging.
Okay, I'm with you. So tell me about the competitive landscape. Are there other guys out there doing something similar, and do you have advantages over them?
So, yeah, we're in this weird place where competitive landscape theoretically could be circuit breaker manufacturers.
Oh, yeah.
We don't view it that way.
Right.
I would say that probably closest to competition with us are others who are offering not necessarily just EV chargers,
Yeah.
but full solutions. So there's a few of them out there. We feel we have an edge because we fundamentally view this from an infrastructure point of view. We came from the infrastructure side.
Yeah.
We're full electricians, engineers. We used to design things in our past life, full facilities. So we see this very much from a customer's point of view to know what's valuable and really what's not valuable. I think a lot of companies are out there offering things that aren't quite as valuable, or at least don't emphasize the most valuable things for customers, which are like the things we mentioned: cybersecurity, reliability is absolutely critical. Large-scale energy management, enterprise level software for not just a charger, but a facility and a campus and a infrastructure of chargers, things like this. So to sum that up, I would say certainly companies who are offering EV charging products, fundamentally, because we have vertically integrated to the point to now we have the full suite of software, hardware, services. We're a bit unique in that way. We're a manufacturer, but we're also a full services offering company.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So I think a lot of us understand that there's more that needs to be done before the infrastructure is robust to help us shift away from internal combustion vehicles. Can you tell us, from an insider's perspective, what do you see happening in the next few years? I mean, as these networks roll out, how are things going to look? I mean, you're an expert. I mean, what I like about being able to interview you is you're an electrician. You actually know how this stuff works. So just tell us a bit about how you see things rolling out.
Yeah, I think from a ecosystem point of view, there's certainly going to be a consolidation of companies. There are a lot of companies that are doing this. And we think there's going to be some consolidation in that.
Okay.
I think from an industry perspective, that very soon, like today, and for the past, I'm going to estimate 80 years, HVAC has been the largest single load that you could point to on the grid.
Yeah.
EV charging will quickly surpass that, very quickly. And so this is a unique time. I think we're in a once-in-a-century event related to energy today, in the sense that because of the level of consumption that charging vehicles will have at scale, there has to be something different done from an energy management, cybersecurity perspective. That's very much not an app, but it's enterprise-level energy management for the customer, and also for the utility provider, or the whoever's providing power. All of this has to be tied together into one tight ecosystem at that level of scale. So that's what I kind of see from an industry perspective that we need.
Yeah.
But certainly, I'm with all the studies. EV charging or electric vehicles will take over.
Yeah.
For sure. It's unclear when exactly that will be the majority of the market, but we do know that it's accelerating faster than anyone's predicted yet.
Yeah.
If you look at this year's numbers, that was supposed to be 3 years from now numbers 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's really something. Quick question for you. I'm just assuming we're talking about domestic stuff here in the United States, but your technology could work overseas too, right? With some small adjustments, I imagine.
So from the physics perspective, yes.
Okay.
So there's regulatory things you have to do before you sell, say, to Europe, because Europe has a different standard. Than the U.S. does, as well as other countries. So we have the physics are in the product to sell overseas. We have to get through the listing process.
Gotcha.
Right now, focus is certainly in North America. I feel this is a market that is relatively in need of what we have to offer.
Right.
We believe the same in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
But this is our own backyard, so we need to focus on solving the problems here first, and then the rest of the world. Although we are doing some work, overseas. But right now, North America is a priority for the company.
Okay, well, one last question here, Ryan, before we wrap up. We're here at the IPO Summit, of course, so I've got to ask you, what are your thoughts? Thinking about going public anytime soon, staying private for a while? Could you find a strategic partner? What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I think, we've thought about this, and I think, going IPO is really a decision on will it accelerate the company and the technology and the usefulness for society, fundamentally.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing what we do because it's for the industry, the electrification industry. So the question we have is, will it accelerate what we're doing? And that's really what drives the decision for our company to go, public. From a tactical point of view, I was, if that would ever happen, I would see in the next few years, certainly not within the next year.
Okay.
But that's how the decisions are made, basically, is will it accelerate what we're doing?
Perfect. That's a great answer, Ryan. Well, Ryan, I've really enjoyed hearing about this fascinating business you've created, and it's great to be here with you on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Signing off, I'm Jannarone with IPO Edge.